You hit six figures, maybe you hit multiple six figures, and somewhere in the middle of all of that, the revenue, the clients, the content, the growing, you started to feel hollow. Not all the time, but enough. Enough that you notice it, enough that you started wondering if there was something wrong with you, because you worked so hard to build this, and it should feel better than this. It doesn't feel better because money was never the destination. It was just the next dopamine hit, and your whole system, your decisions, your identity, your daily energy have been organized around chasing the next one. Six figures without a destination is just faster suction. And I think somewhere deep down, you already know. Hi, I'm Elise. I work with fitness business owners on the stuff underneath the business. Because there's a person under there. And that person has gotten very good at performing, at showing up, at grinding, at being the face of the brand. And has maybe forgotten what any of that actually is for. That's what this video is about. This isn't about your marketing strategy. This isn't about your sales funnel. This is about the thing underneath all of that. The foundation that either holds everything up long term or lets it crack. I call it the stewardship mindset. And it's the lens through which I think about everything I do, basically. In my business, in my faith, in my marriage, in my fitness, and my finance. So if you get 20 to 30 minutes and you're willing to sit with something that might actually change how you see your work, stay with me. I want to name something that nobody in the industry is really willing to name out loud. Most business owners are dopamine addicts. Not in a clinical sense, I'm not diagnosing anyone, but functionality, the way our businesses are structured, the way we consume content, the way we measure success, it's all wired for the hit. A new client signs up, hit. Revenue milestone crossed, hit. A post goes viral, hit. Someone tags you and says you changed their life, hit. And now those things are bad things. Because let me be clear. Revenue is good, impact is good, growth is good. But here is the problem with organizing your entire life around the dopamine hit. You can never arrive. You cross one milestone and the goalpost moves. You make the money, then you need more money. You get the recognition, and then you need more recognition. The whole time, you're burning through yourself. Burning through your team, burning through your family, burning through your faith. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Holocaust and wrote Man's Search for Meaning, said something that wrecked me when I first read it. He said that happiness can't be pursued directly. It has to ensue. It's a byproduct of living a meaningful life. You can't change meaning. You have to choose it. And that requires something entirely different than the optimization game most of us are playing. Here's what I see over and over again in the fitness industry, especially. Owners build a business. Gets good at it. Grows it. Somewhere in the process, quietly without an announcement, they start losing their integrity, not because they're bad people, but because the pressure to perform, to post, to sell, to show up perfect slowly creates a vision of them that isn't actually them. A curated person that looks great on Instagram and feels hollow in the mirror. Their peace, because the business is always on. There's always the next thing. There's always a metric to fix, a client to chase, a problem to solve. Rest starts to feel like failure. Sabbath feels irresponsible, and they wonder why they can't sleep. And finally, their meaning. Because growing the business stopped being a vehicle for something bigger a long time ago. And because the thing itself, the destination, got shallow by the road, on the side. One of my favorite books in the whole Bible is Ecclesiastes. It has the brutal, honest phrase, the writers call it all vanity. A chase after the wind. And he's not about being a nihilist. He's being precise. He says, if you're doing all of this without anchoring it to something that transcends you, then you will exhaust yourself for nothing. That's not condemnation. That's warning for someone who's been there. So here's the shift. The shift that changes everything. The plot twist you're looking for. Most fitness owners operate with an ownership mindset. The business is mine. The clients are mine. The revenue is mine. The brand is mine. My job is to protect it, grow it, maximize it, and make sure no one threatens it. Stewardship says something fundamentally different. Stewardship says, I'm not the owner, I'm the manager. I have been entrusted with something, this business, these clients, this platform, this community, this body, and my job is not to extract from it. My job is to govern it well, to tend to it, to grow it in a way that serves something bigger than my own bank account or ego. This isn't just a mindset trick. This is a completely reorientated way of why you do what you do. The ownership mindset asks, what can I get out of this? The stewardship mindset asks, what am I responsible for? And to whom? And here's what's wild. I've seen this play out in my own finances, in my own business, in the people I work with. When you shift from ownership to stewardship, the fear changes. The hustle changes. The decision changes. You start making choices for the next generation instead of the next quarter. You stop asking, how do I get more? And start asking, how do I use what I have? This is the foundation of legacy. Okay, I want to give you the actual framework that I use to teach this. It's simple. 3 words. Vehicle, travel, destination. Let me break it down for you. The vehicle is your body. Not just your physical body, although that's in there too, because fitness people know better than anyone how the body is the container for everything else you do. But broader than that, your body is your capacity, your health, your energy, your physical presence in this world. It's the vehicle you've been given to operate. And here's the thing about vehicles. They require maintenance. They require rest. They require fuel. that actually serves the engine. And if you run them without care, they break down. You've seen it. You've maybe been it. Most fitness owners know everything about training other people's vehicles and run their own into the ground. The travel is your mind. How you think, the narratives you carry, the belief you've inherited from your family, your culture, your industry, the mental patterns that either steer you towards purpose or steer you away from it. The travel is where most of the work actually happens. Because what's going on in the mind shapes every decision you make. Your identity, your values, whether you lead from fear or lead from purpose. Jordan Peterson talks about this. The idea that order and meaning require you to take responsibility from your own thinking. You can't clean up the world if you haven't cleaned up your room, right? We all hear him say that. You can't lead your business if you haven't examined the story you're telling yourself about what it's for. The destination. It's your spirit. This is where it gets personal. I want to be honest with you about where I land, because I think intellectual honesty matters more than me trying to be palatable. My destination is a Jesus-shaped life. It's not a phrase I use lightly. It means a life oriented around peace, purpose, grace, solution-centered living. A life that actively begins transforming into something that serves God and serves the people He's put in my path. Now, wherever you land spiritually, here's what I know is universally true. If you don't have a destination, a clear why that transcends you, the vehicle and the travel will eventually consume themselves. You have to have a healthy body and a disciplined mind and know where worth going. The destination gives the whole thing meaning. And without meaning, it's just faster suction. Let me give you 3 ways I've seen no destination destroy really talented fitness business owners. Okay? 1, successful without peace. They hit every goal they set, and they still wake up anxious because there's always a new goal. There's always a threat. There's always someone growing faster. When there's no destination, more is never enough because more was never the point. 2, growth without integrity. When your only North Star is the metrics, you'll eventually compromise to protect them. You'll say what people want to hear. You're building a person instead of building a persona instead of a person. My apologies. You'll make promises you don't keep because that keep was never the point. The conversion was, really. And your team feels it. Your clients feel it, even if they can't name it. And 3, burnout without cause. This one is heartbreaking. The burnout that comes not from working too hard for something meaningful, that kind of exhaustion has dignity, but the burnout from running hard with no real direction, pouring everything into a machine that doesn't remember your name. The destination isn't just spiritual motivation. It is protective. It is the thing that keeps you from spending the best years of your life building something that doesn't know how to love you back. I want to talk about discipline for a minute because in the fitness world especially, discipline has gotten weaponized. Discipline as punishment, discipline as hustle threader, discipline as the thing you beat yourself with when you don't hit the number. That's not discipline. It's self-rejection with a productivity costume on. Real discipline, stewardship-shaped discipline, isn't driven by fear or failure or need for the discipline hit of achievement. It's driven by purpose, by a clear, settled sense of what you're responsible for and who you're responsible to. Stephen Hayes, the psychologist who developed acceptance and commitment therapy, which forms a lot of the foundation of my work, talks about committed action. Action that is anchored to your values, not to your emotions. You don't act because you feel motivated. You act because this is how and who you are and what you're committed to. The Stoics, they called this amor fati, love of fate. Marcus Aurelius wrote this in his own journals, and I'm sorry if I butchered how to say that. Not for anyone else, but just for him. He wrote this in all of his journals about the discipline of showing up fully to whatever was in front of him. Not because it felt good, because it was the right thing to do. Because he had a role, a responsibility, a destination. That's what I want for you. Discipline that gets you to the destination. Discipline that doesn't require a good morning to function. Discipline that comes from the inside out. Discipline rooted in who you actually are, not who you perform for your audience. Last thing, and this one might sting a little. In an industry saturated with personal brands, highlight reels, and coaches selling results they can't deliver, integrity has become the rarest commodity in this room. And I don't mean integrity as a moral trophy. I mean integrity as the simple, boring, powerful practice of keeping your word. Saying what you mean. Doing what you said. Being the same person in the DMs that you are on stage. Trust compounds. Every single time you do what you said you would do with a client, with a team member, with yourself, you make a deposit into a trust account that builds your actual long-term legacy. Every time you don't, you make a withdrawal. And some withdrawals are hard to recover from. Ryan Holiday, who has written some of the most honestly greatest works on Stoicism alive right now. If you don't know him, go check him out. Makes a brilliant point. Virtue isn't soft. Virtue is the practice. It's the thing you do in the dark when nobody's watching, when there's no reward. And it's exactly what practice that produces the kind of character that can actually be trusted with influence. I want to have a competitive advantage to help you that no algorithm can touch. I want you to want a competitive advantage that no algorithm can touch either. That no competitor can steal. I want us all to keep our word. Building the culture. Do the thing you said. every single time. That's integrity as a strategy. That's stewardship made visible. So here's what I want to leave you with. The stewardship mindset isn't a productivity hack. It's not a reframe you do once and move on. It's a complete shift in why you do what you do. And it changes everything downstream from it. Your discipline changes when it's anchored to purpose instead of fear. Your decisions change when you think about the next generation, not the next quarter. Your integrity changes when you see your word as a stewardship practice, not just a professional nicety. And your peace, the peace that even in the Bible is pointed towards. The peace that Frankl said is a byproduct of meaning that becomes accessible in a way it never was when you were just chasing the next hit. I want to invite you to something. I'm building a community, the Founders Club, for fitness business owners who are ready to do this kind of work. Not the business strategy only work, the real work, the identity work, the values work, the work that makes you sustainable as a founder, as a leader, as a human being. It's launching in May, and I'm building it with a small group of founding members who want to help shape what is to become. If that resonates with you, if something in this video landed for you, the link to learn more and reserve your spot is down in the description. And regardless of whether the Founders Club is for you or not, I want you to sit with one question this week. Not, how do I grow my business? What am I actually building this for? If you can answer that, really answer it. Not with the answer that looks good, but the answer that's true. You'll have found your destination, and that vehicle and the travel will follow. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.